Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video to the channel. So in this video, we're going to be looking at binding contracts as well as the hidden profit behind binding contracts. Now the reason why I'm doing this video is that if you did a decent stint at the archaeology professors for 120 thieving, 200 mil thieving, whatever your thieving goal was, you're like me probably going to have a decent stack of binding contracts in the bank. So what the point of this video is going to be is looking and delving into which ones are the best ones to do for profit. Now, to get binding contracts, you don't have to go and just thieve. You can actually create them through summoning as well. Now, to make binding contracts, you actually don't need a summoning level. You can actually make them at level 1, but what it's going to require is the Archaeology Mystery Dagon Buy, which is essentially the completion of the Zamorak dig sites. Now, to make these, you're going to need a couple of different things. You're going to need a blue charm, empty pouch, 2 Blood of Orcus, 2 Hellfire Metal, and 200 shards. Now, before we start delving into the prices of binding contracts and which ones I would suggest are going to be the best ones, let me show you guys a really quick way to go and make these, as well as let's go and price check how much they're going to cost in terms of creating a binding contract. So the 2 archaeology materials you're going to need are going to be Blood of Orcus and Hellfire Metal. Now these 2 historically go up and down quite a lot, so you kind of want to time it to when they're at their cheapest point. They have been cheaper than their current price, but we'll go and price check them at the higher end. What I do when I make these videos is instant buy for the highest price, so you guys can make more if you buy for the slower buy price. To find the slow buy price, all you need to do is, once you've instant bought an item, go and instantly sell it. And that will be the lowest buy offer on Organic Exchange. And that's what price I want you guys to buy for, because you'll make more money than what I'm currently making. So in terms of the price, we're going to currently come in for a price of 20.4k for the Hellfire Metal, 10.2k each, and 10.4k each for the Blood of Orcus, 20.8. So that's going to come in at a price of 42,000 coins for the archaeology items for the binding contract, because we need to buy some shards a little bit later on. I'm going to grab 1 blue charm because this is going to make 1 contract, and we're going to go to Tavli really quick. Now what I'm going to show you guys is a quick way to make binding contracts. You are going to need to have a decent stack of the materials to do it. Now what I'm going to show you guys is how I make binding contracts quick. Now the same emphasis of this method can be used to make summoning pouches quick as well. Simply what we're going to be doing is selling the items to the summoning almost general store, and then what we're going to do from them is buying from him, make the pouches onto the obelisk, and then rinse and repeat basically. So we're going to go to the pet store just here just to go and stock up on some stuff. Actually I can buy it from Mega Sticks. So we need 200 shards to do this. So because the shards are 25 GP each from the shop, we just need to simply add 5,000 coins onto our total price. So for a binding contract, it's going to be 47k to create the full binding contract. Now what you could do to go and make these a lot quicker, because the binding contracts stack, you can come with noted Blood of Orcus and also Hellfire Metal, and you can sell this to Mage Stick for shop. So by selling it, it means that he's got a quantity here, and it means essentially you can just convert your items from noted form into physical form to make into pouches. Yes, you're going to have to spend a little bit of GP, but it'll be no more than like probably 100k per thousand, maybe 250-ish. I'm pretty bad with maths for that bit. But by doing that, you can pretty much just stay at this obelisk and just make pouches. So we have now made our binding contract pouch. It costs us 47k to do it, and you can use Mage Stick to trade your items from a noted form into standard form to then just go back and forward between the obelisk and then Mage Stick to make binding contracts so much quicker. Rather than running to a bank, banking for the items and then going to an obelisk, take a little bit of hit on the cash, make these quicker, and then you'll make more cash in the long run, because you're going to save yourself so much time in terms of how long it's going to take to make the binding contracts. As a slight little tip as well, summoning is the same thing. All you do is trade your summoning secondaries to Mage Stick and then use it on the obelisk, and it's just going to make your pouches significantly quicker. This is how a lot of people do it on double XP, just because it means that they're not running back and forward to a bank. They're just going to power train their summoning. Sometimes with summoning pouches, you either have to convert them into scrolls, or if you've got magic note paper because they've got a value to them, you can use that as well. And very rarely, sometimes people put down the portable banks. Not that I think that any of them are going to pop up anytime soon, because again, they've not been in the game for so long and their sort of stock will be depleting more and more as well. But that's pretty much how you make binding contracts really quick, and also how you do summoning pouches really quick. If you wanted me to do an in-depth video of it and I come and do 100 pouches of a certain type or 100 binding contracts, just to show you guys how I work through it, how my flow is, and just sort of like do a speed up clip of me making them and talking over it on my little tips as well, I can 100% do it. Again, just let me know in the comments and I can go and do that as well. However, that is basically binding contracts as a sort of, we know it's going to cost us 47k. We know we can also go in thieving from the professors as well. And in terms of my sort of thieving adventures, I got 1.8k in terms of the binding contracts as well. So what we're going to go do now is go and check the prices for all the different ones. Now, in terms of going to kill the monsters for this, I think you guys know where a lot of these are because, again, they're very well-known monsters. But let's go and check the margins and the prices for them as well, because the binding contract prices have changed an awful lot over the past couple of months. And I think really we're kind of waiting for a big PVM update to see like if they're majorly going to go up. If a big PVM update comes up which warrants the use of these binding contracts, then it's pretty much over, because then you've got a massive way to go and make a lot of cash. Now, in terms of making a lot of cash, we've just done the Hellhound contract there, and that's roughly going to make you about 38,000 coins, which, when you think about it, yes, you've got to do the whole process of making binding contracts, but that is a solid price, especially if you're someone who actively goes and does clue scrolls. Hellhounds can be one of the best places for you to get like regular hard clue scrolls. That is really, really nice to do in terms of profit for that as well. Now, lots of the binding contracts will come with risk reward. So things like the Ripper Demons, which is very intensive in terms of making the Ripper Demon pouches, because there's a certain way to kill them in the wilderness, which to this day, I've still not properly gone and done. And I know I've promised you guys so many times, but you can make a lot more cash on top of that as well. The Blood Reaver pouch, you can kill outside of next. And to be fair, at that kind of price, it's almost worth doing. And something I would recommend a lot of people to go and do if you're looking for a little bit of extra cash compared to Hellhounds. Gargoyles at one point were insane for cash. Not so much now. I mean, Gargoyles, from my opinion, are on the same level of easiness as what Hellhounds are. So whichever one out of the two is easier, that's the one I would go and focus on and go and kill as well. So Abyssal Demon is one which isn't really mentioned a lot. But again, even at the mid price, that is just not worth doing. So I'll tell you what, I'll price check it just for you guys. Just for you guys, I'll go and price check that one and no doubt lose some money, yes. So you actually lose a grand total of about 15k by making the Abyssal Demon pouch. And again, Abyssal Demons just need something where it's useful. As soon as it's useful, then it will make some profit. Now, Calgarian Demons can sometimes be very, very good if we can find them. There it is. Because it's got a very good special ability where it's basically almost like a Status Warhammer spec, where it's going to lower defense. So again, this has got a need. 116.5k is by far the best one in the minute. Again, you only need a few things for that. 90 Dungeoneering to be able to go and do the area and get into the area. I don't think they have a Slayer requirement though. And then finally, the Ripper Demons. So let's see what the Ripper Demon price is going to be. So Ripper Demons actually cheaper than Cows, which is very interesting actually. You would have thought that they'd be a little bit higher than that. So they are all the binding contracts. Now let's dip into the prices and see which one I would recommend. So not only are the prices very sporadic, there's a couple which have quite a big margin. So a Ripper Demon binding contract almost has a 20,000 coin margin on that, which is actually really, really good. Now, the Ripper Demon, surprisingly, is outperformed by the Blood Reaver. So for the extra risk, it's not really worth it. So the Blood Reaver is very, very good. Now, in terms of what I'd do for pure GP, currently with the price of a Calgarian Demon, you're making substantially more GP by doing those. I would go and target those, get them on a Slayer task so you've got the boost of a Slayer helm, and kill Calgarian Demons. Yes, they're a little bit more effort to kill, and you'll probably get less kills per hour, but per binding contract, you're going to make more GP. Now, if you're looking to convert your binding contracts as quick as possible and try and convert the binding contracts into cash, what I would suggest is maybe looking at Hellhounds, because you're going to get significantly more kills per hour at Hellhounds as opposed to Blood Reavers, but Blood Reavers will sell for more GP. Blood Reavers aren't really that hard to kill. To be fair, I might actually go and do a video just focusing on Blood Reavers themselves, because really, if I was going to pick one, apart from Calgs, which you're probably going to make less GP an hour at Calgs, yes, you can make more profit per contract, but the kills per hour are quite long, so you'll definitely kill less. Blood Reavers and Hellhounds are where I would focus on, and Blood Reavers at the minute, because there's so much more profit than what a Hellhound is, that's probably where I'd go. Hellhounds, you will print out the amount of binding contracts you do per hour. In fact, that actually might be a little video I'll do on the main account. I'll go and take 400 binding contracts to each spot and see how long it takes me to fill those. I bet you at Hellhounds, you'd probably do that maybe in an hour, maybe even significantly less. Maybe I've really undershot that. But again, these are profit. No matter what you do, apart from Abyssal Demon, you will make money. Even things like Gargoyles, Water Fiends, you will make profit with it as well. You can actually, like, quite validly just take binding contracts to, especially the mid-tier Slayer grind, like Hellhounds, Water Fiends, Gargoyles. You can take those to go and make even more profit for the cash. It's just whether you like making the binding contracts or not, because that's going to be the long tedious part, is making the binding contracts to ensure that you've got a decent enough staff to go and do that quite often as well. However, I'm going to go and do the Blood Reaver and also the Hellhound sort of video at some point. Again, probably won't be over the next week, but might be like in sort of like 2-3 weeks towards the end of the subathon. That can be something we can do for a little bit of content. But binding contracts are still profit. That's how you make them, and that's currently how much profit you've been getting from as well. 47k is what we clocked in to make the binding contract itself. But that's going to wrap this video up. Really hope it helped. Again, I know a lot of you guys have got binding contracts sat in your bank from either the thieving grind, or maybe you've opened tetracrumpuses, or maybe you've just got some sat in the bank from a previous time you decided to make some. But they are still incredible profit. Yes, they're not the profit they used to be, but they are still very, very good. However, I'm going to wrap the video up. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to leave me a like, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys very soon in the next video.